I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much you've worked on yourself. There will be days in your life when nothing makes sense, when everything that can go wrong does. When life comes at you unannounced, unexpected, blindsides you with tragedy. When you lose your job, you lose someone you love. When your heart breaks, your account's empty, your strength fading, your spirit shattered. But here's the brutal truth. You can break physically. You can break mentally. But you get to choose whether that break becomes your defeat or your rebirth. 'Cause inside every breakdown is a choice. Listen closely. Two voices will fight for your attention. One is fear, the other is faith. One says give up, the other says get up. When you break, you don't fall apart. You open. Open to strength. Open to growth. Open to the version of you that pain reveals. You think this is the end? No. This is the beginning. You've got to fight. Fight through the divorce. Fight through the diagnosis. Fight through the debt. Fight through the depression. Fight like hell for your life. Not because it's easy, but because you still have something left inside. A fire, a reason, a will. Some battles don't need talent, don't need money, don't need approval. All they need is staying power. So if life has broken you, if you are carrying a wound, a burden, a pain, an ache, a scar, then hold on tight to that. Hold on tight to what it is you want to change. And dedicate every fiber of your being to achieving that. Because inside every breakdown, there is a breakthrough waiting to happen. And now, back to the powerful words from the incredible author who inspires us today with his amazing story. As many of you know, I recently went through a major heartbreak. My girlfriend at the time decided to leave me 1 month before my 21st birthday. In addition to that, I lost my father figure in my life, my grandfather, and I was feeling really low about myself and my future. I was thinking, what is the point of doing all of this? You know, I had this big vision for myself. I wanted to make videos. I wanted to become successful, but I didn't know if I actually had the strength to do it. I didn't know if I could pull through it. But then I stumbled upon a book called Unbroken. So I read this book right here and I decided to write down some of my favorite quotes. And this book changed the way I saw things. So let me share some of these quotes with you guys, and let me tell you why they inspired me. Quote no one. You don't have to be faster than the bear, just faster than the slowest guy running away from the bear. As long as you have people around you that are not willing to put in the work, you will never succeed. Let me tell you why. Let's say you have a team of 3 people and you're working towards one goal. However, 2 of the people aren't really putting in the work, but they're just coasting off of the third person's energy. Well, guess what happens? The third person ends up doing the work of 2 people plus their own work. And what happens over time is that they burn out. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're working harder than everyone else, know this. Either you not surrounded by the right people, or you not charging enough for what you providing. Because if you're providing so much value to others, you should be compensated for it. So if you feel like you're not being compensated fairly, either by money or by recognition, you're not in the right place. You're not surrounded by the right people. You're not being paid enough for what you bring to the table. And that's exactly how I felt when I was in my corporate job. I knew I wasn't being compensated fairly for the amount of value I was bringing to the company. Quote no. 2. He asked God for a sign, but he forgot to listen to the birds. We always want God to speak to us in big ways, but we often miss his signs because they come in small packages. I remember in my early 20s, I used to pray, God, show me a sign. Show me a sign that I'm going in the right direction. Show me a sign that I'm making the right decisions. Show me a sign that I'm doing the right thing with my life. But God never gave me a clear-cut sign. Instead, he showed me little green lights, little blessings, blessed me with opportunities, with random acts of kindness from strangers. He showed me signs that I couldn't ignore. I just chose to ignore them because I wanted a bigger, better sign. I wanted God to part the waters for me, so I would know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I was on the right path. But he never did. And you know what? It's because I didn't trust him. I didn't trust that he was looking after me. I didn't trust that he had a plan for my life. And guess what happened? I ended up missing out on the blessing because I didn't listen to the signs that he was giving me. Quote no. 3. The scar that made him most vulnerable also made him the strongest. When we go through pain and suffering, it's easy to look at those scars and feel ashamed. You know, maybe you're insecure about that scar. You try to cover it up or hide it from others. But what if that scar is what makes you strong? What if that scar is what gives you the strength that you need to overcome your obstacles? You see, I believe that our scars, our wounds, our traumas, those moments of weakness make us who we are. And if we can embrace those scars, own them, then we can become stronger because of them. For example, when I went through my recent heartbreak, I could have chosen to see that as a weakness. I could have said, "Wow, I'm such a loser. Nobody wants to be with me." But instead, I chose to look at it as a strength. I said, "You know what? This pain, this trauma, this heartbreak is what fuels me to create. It's what fuels me to inspire others. It's what fuels me to become the best version of myself." And that's what I did. I channeled all that negative energy into creating videos. I channeled all that pain into inspiring other people. I think that's what we need to do with our scars. We need to own them, embrace them, and use them to fuel our greatness. So let's take a moment of silence to honor the quote that speaks to you the most. Take a moment to appreciate it. Let it sink in. I'll be right here with you. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Which one of these quotes resonated with you the most? Why? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. So let's take a moment to recognize that even though I stumble sometimes, I'm still trying my best to navigate through life, and I hope my journey can inspire you to keep going. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Remember, if life knocks you down, you have the power to get back up and keep moving forward. You're not broken, you're becoming. You're not lost, you're being led. Until next time, stay strong.